So, luteinizing hormone is a chemical in the body that triggers important processes in the human body, that triggers important processes in the human reproductive system. Luteinizing hormone spurs ovulation and helps with the hormone production needed to support pregnancy. Your physician may order a test, yada, yada, yada. What is luteinizing hormone? Now, first, this is from Cleveland Clinic. Luteinizing hormone stimulates processes in your body that are important for sexual health, development, and reproduction. So, when you put a kid on these psychiatric medications, you're fucking with their hormones. When you put a kid on puberty blockers, you're fucking with their hormones. And when people say, oh, well, this isn't life-threatening, yes, it is. It might not be immediately life-threatening, but if you're fucking with somebody's ability to produce lean muscle mass, okay, you're fucking with their ability to prevent heart disease and things of that nature, heart disease, diabetes, etc. But you're fucking with their ability to regulate their metabolism. So, fucking with these hormones is not a good idea, and these psychiatric medications do exactly that. So, the pituitary is a tiny structure in the brain that secretes luteinizing hormone. In turn, luteinizing hormone causes changes in your sex organs, your ovaries or testes, that allow your reproductive system to function properly. What does luteinizing hormone do? Your pituitary gland secretes two important hormones that work together to regulate processes in your reproductive system: follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH, and luteinizing hormone, or LH. These hormones are chemical messengers that signal your sex organs to start processes needed to support your reproductive health. Okay? Reproductive health. Okay? So anything that would interfere with the natural course of these hormones is fucking with your reproductive health, also known as your health. Think of luteinizing hormone as a chemical agitator that spurs your reproductive system to action. Your sex organs produce either steroids or hormones, progesterone, testosterone, in response to luteinizing hormone. In the pituitary of people designated female at birth, oh my God, that's people that are born female, okay? Luteinizing hormone is released only in the second part of the menstrual cycle. That is after an initial surge causes the release of an egg for ovulation. Luteinizing hormone is released at a constant pace for 2 weeks. This stimulates the ovarian progesterone production in the pituitary of people designated male at birth. Luteinizing hormone is released at a constant pace over time, and testosterone is produced at a constant level as well. Luteinizing hormone in women. Okay, luteinizing hormone in women stimulates changes in the ovaries that maintain the menstrual cycle and support pregnancy. Luteinizing hormone causes these changes in people designated female at birth, including cisgender women. I cannot believe they are using language like this at Cleveland Clinic. Ovulation, a surge in luteinizing hormone, causes your ovary to release a mature egg around the second week of each menstrual cycle. A high luteinizing hormone level around this time means that you're at that moment in your cycle when you're most likely to get pregnant. Progesterone production. Luteinizing hormone causes a structure in the ovary called the corpus luteum to produce more progesterone. During the third and fourth week of your menstrual cycle, progesterone is a hormone that's needed to support the early stages of pregnancy. Luteinizing hormone in dudes. Luteinizing hormone stimulates the testes to make testosterone, a hormone your body needs to produce sperm. Testosterone is also responsible for secondary sex characteristics like a deeper voice and more body hair and muscle mass. Luteinizing hormone causes testosterone release in people designated male at birth, including cisgender men and some transgendered women, and Okay, whatever. And some non-binary people with penises. This is the way that they word things at one of the so-called best hospitals in the world. This seems like a lot of unnecessary gobbledygook. But anyway, the hormone aspects. So as you can tell, if messing with somebody's hormones can actually turn them into a non-binary person with a penis, or can turn a man into a woman into a man, etc. These are powerful chemicals that psychiatric medications are directly fucking with and directly influencing people's gender identity, whether they know it or not, on a true biological and molecular basis, on a chemical basis. These psychiatric medications are altering the hormonal makeup of these people, and it is causing them to develop different sex characteristics than they would ordinarily have. Luteinizing hormone in infants and children during puberty. Luteinizing hormone stimulates both the ovaries and the testes to make more testosterone, and the ovary testosterone is then converted into estrogen. These hormones cause changes related to sexual development. Anatomy, it is located, blah, blah, blah. Where is it located? Luteinizing hormone gets made in the part of your body that's responsible for regulating complex processes, your brain. But the organs that luteinizing hormone helps regulate are the reproductive system. Understanding this communication, blah, 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 blah. What are common conditions and disorders associated with luteinizing hormone? Luteinizing hormone levels fluctuate, especially when your menstrual cycle. A high or low luteinizing hormone level isn't simply good or bad. For instance, a surge in your luteinizing hormone can show that you're about to ovulate. You're more likely to become pregnant at that time. This information that luteinizing hormone provides about your fertility is helpful if you're trying to have a baby. Luteinizing hormone in your body can signal problems too. Knowing your luteinizing hormone level at a particular moment. If you have a pituitary disorder, what's causing fertility issues? What's causing you to have irregular periods? How close are you to perimenopause or menopause? What's causing you to have low testosterone levels? Luteinizing hormone level tests can also help your provider diagnose early or delayed puberty in children. What happens when luteinizing hormone levels are too high? They can signify your sex organs aren't producing enough steroid hormones needed for the production process to take place. This is typical of when the ovaries and testes have exhausted their ability to produce estrogen and testosterone from genetic, autoimmune, surgical, or physiological causes. Turner syndrome, or Fragile X, in DFAB people, and Klinefelter syndrome in DMAB people are examples of genetic conditions associated with luteinizing hormone levels. Polycystic ovary syndrome is a condition that affects DFAB people that can cause mildly elevated luteinizing hormone levels. What happens when luteinizing hormone levels are too low? This can signify that your pituitary gland isn't making enough of it. Kallmann syndrome, a rare condition that leads to insufficient testosterone and estrogen production, and functional hypothalamic amenorrhea, when irregular or missed periods are related to excessive exercise habits. Common tests to check luteinizing hormone, and luteinizing hormone test checks how much luteinizing hormone is in your blood and involves a simple blood draw, yada yada yada. What is a normal? Okay, so this is just going over blah blah blah. What foods increase luteinizing hormone? This is important because we are trying to help to increase we're trying to balance our hormones, right? So a handful of studies have explored the relationship between vegetarian diets and low levels of luteinizing hormone and estrogen. Currently, no evidence shows that. So keep this in mind. No evidence shows that vegetarian diets reduce luteinizing hormone levels, despite what you've been told. So speak with your healthcare provider about diet and lifestyle recommendations to improve your overall health, including habits that support brain functioning and reproductive health. Okay, moving forward. So what is follicle-stimulating hormone? Follicle-stimulating hormone is a hormone that plays a significant role in sexual development and reproduction by affecting the function of the ovaries and testes. It works alongside luteinizing hormone. What is follicle-stimulating hormone? Follicle-stimulating hormone is a hormone your pituitary gland makes and releases that plays a role in sexual development. Despite its name, follicle-stimulating hormone doesn't directly affect your hair follicles or hair growth. A special group of hormones called androgens affects hair growth. Follicle-stimulating hormone got its name due to its effect on ovarian follicles, which are small sacs filled with fluid that contain egg cells in the ovaries. Hormones are chemicals that coordinate different functions in your body by carrying messages through your blood to your organs, muscles, and tissues. These signals tell your body what to do and when to do it. What is the function of follicle-stimulating hormone? Follicle-stimulating hormone is an important hormone that has a few different functions depending on the type of sexual organs you have and your age. Follicle-stimulating hormone function is in fetal development. In the second and third trimesters of pregnancy, to the end of the week, blah, 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 these hormone levels peak mid-pregnancy, yada, yada, yada. Follicle-stimulating hormone function in pregnancy. Follicle-stimulating hormone are normally low in children. So it's normally low in children. As puberty approaches, the hypothalamus produces gonadotropin, releasing hormone GnRH, which triggers follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, that this begins the changes towards sexual maturity. So again, if you're fucking with these hormones, you're literally fucking with somebody's ability to have a healthy maturation. And boys or children assigned male at birth, follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone work together to trigger their testes to begin producing testosterone. Okay, and girls are assigned female at birth. Follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, their ovaries begin producing estrogen. This hormone is responsible for physical changes of puberty, such as breast development and menstruation. Follicle-stimulating hormone function is menstruating people assigned female at birth. For women or people assigned female at birth, that's what that is, AFAB. Now I know what AFAB means. See, I got fired from my job in mental health too early to have that acronym in my head. So who are menstruating? Follicle-stimulating hormone's main function is to help regulate the menstrual cycle. Specifically, follicle-stimulating hormone stimulates follicles on the ovary to grow and prepare the eggs for ovulation. As the follicles increase in size, they begin to release estrogen and a low level of progesterone into the blood. Ovulation is present in the menstrual cycle. It occurs, yada, yada, yada. Okay, follicle-stimulating hormone function in people assigned male at birth, or AMAB. For men or people, AMAB, or follicle-stimulating hormone, stimulates sperm production in collaboration with testosterone inside the testes. What triggers follicle-stimulating hormone production? A complex feedback system of hormones called hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis regulates your follicle-stimulating hormone levels. To start your hypothalamus releases gonadotropin, releasing hormone, blah, 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 blah. Released it, okay. So, congenital forms of primary hypogonadism, meaning small gonads, okay, that would literally be what it means, insufficient gonads, are Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome, and androgen insensitivity syndrome. Conditions and situations that cause acquired primary hypogonadism include gonadal toxins such as radiation or chemotherapy, damage or injury to the ovaries or testes, sex hormone decline with aging, certain autoimmune conditions, infections such as the mumps. Okay, what conditions are associated with low follicle-stimulating hormone? So It can lead to poor ovarian or testicular function in adults, which can lead to infertility. This condition is called hypogonadotropic hypogonadism and is usually caused by issues with your pituitary gland or hypothalamus. Okay, pituitary gland issues that cause this are hyperpituitarism. Okay, something is putting pressure. So what causes this? Something putting pressure on the pituitary, damage to your pituitary, and a rare condition that can cause hypopituitarism. Hypothalamus issues. Kallmann syndrome is an inherited condition in which the hypothalamus doesn't make enough gonadotropin releasing hormone. Without enough gonadotropin releasing hormone, you have low levels of follicle stimulating hormone and low levels of sex hormones. What are symptoms of abnormal follicle stimulating hormone levels? Except for abnormally high levels of follicle-stimulating hormones in kids, which can cause early puberty, abnormal levels of follicle-stimulating hormone, whether too high or too low, usually point to hypogonadism. Okay, hypogonadism occurs when sex glands or gonads produce few sex hormones, if any. Lower than average follicle-stimulating hormone levels due to an issue with the hypothalamus or pituitary gland directly cause hypogonadism. So symptoms of hypogonadism in newborns can include an abnormally small penis, undistended testicles, absent breast development in girls, no menstruation, absent testicular enlargement in boys, lack of growth spurt during puberty, symptoms of hypogonadism in men or adults, loss of interest or adult men, loss of interest in sex, fatigue, infertility, likely due to a lack of sperm, erectile dysfunction, breast enlargement, loss of muscle tone, having less facial hair, symptoms of hypogonadism in women or, loss of interest in sex, fatigue, infertility, likely due to issues with ovulation, hot flashes, irregular menstruation, or no menstruation periods, or no menstrual periods, losing pubic hair. What test measures follicle-stimulating hormone, yada, yada, yada. When should I call my doctor, yada, yada, yada. Okay, moving forward. So when we come back, we're going to talk about 10 natural ways to balance your hormones. How to balance your hormones. 5 essential supplements to balance hormones. Herbs, vitamins, and supplements for testosterone. And that's all for this video.